Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffe Kennedy, also writing as Jennifer K. Lambert, author of epic fantasy romance. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Ah, today is, say it with me, people, it is Friday. Woo-hoo. May 16th, rolling right on through May. And I have exciting news this week, or this podcast. Guess what? We'll do a little drum roll. Uh, Never the Roses got a starred library journal review. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I'm so excited. I'm so happy about this. One of my friends asked if this was my first starred library journal review, and it's not, um, because I'm just that awesome. No, no, no. Sorry, I'm very happy about this. I worry, because this book might end up being super popular, and I know some people don't love it as much as my usual books, but getting a great review like this, which I will read to, is just makes me feel better that I don't know that it's really hitting all the points. I don't understand it, but yeah, I was worried. So uh, what was I going to say? I've gotten so excited about this. Not my first. The Bark of the Tala definitely got one. I think maybe some of the other 12 Kingdoms books did. Um, and maybe not since then. I don't remember if Forgotten Empires did. That was all during pandemic and things were very confusing. Lost to the mists of time. But here is this brand new, spanking new, dare I say, gushing review. After an unspeakable act, Oneira, a powerful sorceress, wins her freedom and leaves the battles of rival kingdoms behind. She builds a fortress far away from human habitation and quietly resigns herself to a solitary existence. Then two magical creatures, it's really three, I don't know why they said two, find her, providing her with comfort, if not peace. Still, Oneira is restless and steals a rare book from the library of her nemesis. Steranos, a formidable sorcerer, is enraged that his wards did not keep out the thief, so he leaves a note to provoke the mystery thief to return. The back and forth between them escalates, and Steranos eventually discovers that his thief is Oneira. When he confronts her, the pair form an unexpected understanding and intimacy. But when Steranos is commanded to take up arms against the kingdom Oneira once protected, the two find themselves on opposite sides of the war yet again. Verdict. Lambert, pen name of Jeffe Kennedy, reluctant wizard, weaves a heart-wrenching tale of guilt and longing, with two star-crossed lovers finding much-needed absolution in each other, only to be forced apart once again. This captivating romantasy is a resounding delight and will leave readers dreaming of a sequel. Isn't that great? I'm just thrilled. And my publicist and agent are thrilled at all the great pull quotes. um, so yeah, and then this week I have been working on plans for my actual book tour, which actually means that I have been approving plans. This is like a super cool thing on this particular phase of the A-Ticket Cinderella ride. Dated reference there. You young people might not get it. Um, but I'm not going to explain it. You can Google the meme, just like we Google the words you make up. Ha ha ha. Turnabout is fair play. But yes, A-Ticket Cinderella ride, that they send me emails with potential plane itineraries, and I get to pick which ones I would like, and then they will pay for them and everything. And it is just super cool. Even when I had my day job, we did our own travel. We did not have um, an agency that handled travel for us. And yeah, I mean, that was just part of it. So never in my life have I had someone plan travel for me, and it is everything that I thought it could be. So, so yeah, that's the excitement here. Writing wise, oh, I did not get my edit letter yet back. I got an email from Deanna. I haven't heard from Allie all week. I'm not sure what she's doing. Maybe she's buried in babies and uh, work. Both is work, baby work and publishing work. So Deanna sent me an email last night saying, Jeffy, 3 exclamation points. Not to shock you, but we're running a little late. We're almost done reading Tears, Heartbreak, and just need to gather our thoughts. I'm getting that letter to you early next week. Thank you for your patience. So that's fine. I told her that I'm just as happy that, uh, you know, that someone else is running a little late on things. And I've been working on the secret project. So, yeah, that's the other news is that I have started writing again. I started writing again on Tuesday, and I'm worried because this is acting like it's frozen, but past experience tells us it's actually recording. But Chrome just like stops working. Zencaster, I know I keep mentioning, uh, won't support, uh, won't run on anything but Chrome, but it also seems to not be running on Chrome too. So we'll see if I'm just going to keep talking and we'll see if it comes back. So yeah, I've actually gotten a fair amount done. Oh, good, it came back. Gosh, that's so weird. Um, I've gotten almost 7,000 words so far this week on The Secret Project, and that has been really fun to work on. People are asking me how it feels, and it feels good. I said I was tanned, rested, and ready, and yeah, so, and it's fun to work on this project. It's something that I'd kind of been mulling and noodling for a long time, and it feels great. And that kind of leads me into the other thing I want to talk about, which is for the rest of our lives, we're going to be talking about AI. And I'm going to have to put air quotes around it every time. So, like, the latest brouhaha is that a survey came out from BookBub saying that half of indie authors surveyed, of 1,200 indie authors, that they were using generative AI at some phase of their writing work. And half said they never would, and something like 7% in between those halves said that they would think about it. And there's been a fair amount of conversation about it in the short time since it released. Um, a whole lot on what their sample was, because it seems that they asked people who buy BookBub ads, which skews very heavily to the sort of indie author who might embrace generative AI. Because it is very well known that the group, uh, 20 Books to 50K, started by Michael Anderle. I know, Michael and Judith and Craig. I don't know if Michael and Judith sold the business or not. I think Craig extracted himself from it. But Michael started it because his whole idea was that you could write 20 books to be making $50,000 a year. And he has always taken advantage of whatever technology assists in that goal. And he and Judith have a very nice lifestyle. He's bought me an expensive dinner, full disclosure, and so he's done well. And the group is huge. I know Craig wanted to buy the business from them for a while. I don't know if he succeeded. I know people who are still part of that group. I know others who have left, but they are very, very much focused on making money. and something that Craig Martell, I was trying to think of his last name, uh, that Craig emphasized repeatedly is minimum viable product, meaning that you should put as much effort into writing and publishing a book as would make it viably successful and no more, to conserve your effort, because his view, they were really trying to hit that 30-day rapid release algorithm on Amazon, mostly doing Kindle Unlimited. And so, yeah, that was his idea, was that enables you to write shorter books faster so that you can write the next book and hit the algorithm. Um, it's a very profit focused model. Um, for people who are in this business for the love of storytelling and who think of themselves as creating art. I had a conversation with someone the other day about art, and it was very interesting. I'll have to tell you about that, but I'm going to set it aside for the moment. The concept of minimum viable product is kind of repellent, if not revolting, to some of us. And yeah, we'll just leave that at that. At any rate, apparently 20 books to 50K, there's a large group within there that have the minimum viable product people who have seized upon the large language model, generative AI, chat GPT, whatever the hell, and are using those to write books, because you can write books faster that way, and that's what matters to them. And for yeah, I've never used, I've actually never seen chat GPT. I've seen outputs from it, but I think it's on the iPhone, and I have an Android. I've never seen it and don't care to. I have never touched it. I've turned off the AI assist on everything that I can. I don't even like predictive text on my phone. It's like, don't tell me what I'm going to say. I feel very Gen X-y doing these things, put up the Gen X meme. Uh, but but yeah, this putting words in my mouth is really offensive to me, just when I'm telling someone good morning, not let alone in my books. So something else that's happened is I saw a book blogger of some sort. Like, we probably don't say that anymore. Bookstagrammer, saying that she had received an arc of monster romance that was inspired by The Last Unicorn. Only they didn't confess to that. She recognized it. She recognized it from the movie and put up screenshots of it saying, "Is this plagiarism?" And some people looked at it, and it appears that what she did was take the movie script or sound, like the dialogue, maybe the sound from the movie, and fed that into Chat GPT and had it rewritten. That's what people are theorizing. She sent it back to the author and said she declined to review, that it was a DNF, did not finish, and was declining to review. And the author said, well, that yes, she was inspired by The Last Unicorn. But and people were saying to contact Peter S. Beagle, which sure you should. But and Peter is delightful. But I'll tell you who's got the pockets and the will to pursue something like that is the movie studio. I don't think I commented that. But yeah, so there's been talk of asking authors to prove that they're not using AI to write their books. And there's been some interesting riffing on that. Like, how do we prove that? Because, like, if you video us writing, you'll just see us, like, staring out the window, which is not wrong. But, I think it's probably going to come to this, saving multiple drafts of your work. It's what I do. I know people who do a new draft every single day, and maybe that's the thing to do, to show, we're going to have to show our work. just in case it gets challenged that way. And I feel like maybe it behooves us to do so because I I really would love these people who are using computers to write their books for them. Let's put it that way. I think they're a scourge. I'm sorry, you're. I feel very strongly about this. Maybe you're a widget maker, which is what this whole minimum viable product idea is, and certainly there's a market for that. But it's not. It's not what storytelling is about. It's not what the art of writing is about. And I was talking to this friend of mine, a new friend, who is an art history professor, and very interesting. And we were talking about the nature of art. I was asking them, you know, well, saying that it took me a very long time to think of what I do as an art. And they said they thought that wasn't unusual, which was interesting to me because there is something about calling yourself a creative or an artist that feels um, I don't know, poncy, poncy to use my friend Charlie's word. We don't really have an equivalent in English of something like that. But yeah, it's like being uppity. It's thinking pretty highly of yourself. Except that, and long-time listeners will know this, I talk about process a lot. I talk about like for me, a lot of times writing a story is like transcribing it from elsewhere. Um, and to me, that is part of the joy and delight of creating the book. And here I sit with my book coming out in less than 2 months, people. It's already less than 2 months. I just can't believe it. Which was inspired by The Forgotten Beasts of Eld. And I have in the acknowledgments that I considered it to be a conversation with that book. But I didn't, all of the synthesizing happened in this eye, in the actual organic eye, the OI. Um, and that's an important part of storytelling, that conversation, that taking in stories and what's meaningful to us about stories and telling and retelling them. And we talked a lot about how art is in the eye of the beholder and like the definition of what is art. And I was also asking them what they thought about whether or not something was good, and was completely validated in my um, long time argument that the tastemakers are those from tend to be upper class, that they are the people from the classes who decide what is worthwhile, and that ultimately when somebody says that this is good and this is not good, that it's a classist argument. So I felt very validated by that. But deciding what is art, and they use the example of like you could go look at art in the Guggenheim, and then you can look at graffiti in the subway, and only we decide what is art. And I think that this dredging up from our guts and our spirits and the laboring over the work, um, that this is what it's about. It's what I'm here for. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to start saving periodic drafts of what I'm working on. Uh, I feel like my books probably, well, I don't know. Who knows? The AI has been trained on my books, so maybe they could convincingly produce something that sounds like what I would write. But yeah, I think this is the thing to do. I think we should all just start saving periodic drafts, saving our notes, and so forth, and showing how we worked on something. Such are the times we live in. Interesting times, right? We won't get bored soon. All right. On that note, I'm going to go get to work. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. It's the Santa Fe International Literary Festival here this weekend, so I'm going and volunteering, and it should be interesting to see some of the discussions. All right. Uh, you all take care, and I will talk to you on Monday. Bye bye.